Exodus chapter 16, verse 1. They set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. Okay, just a reminder, Elim is replaced with 70 palm trees and 12 springs. And so after staying, we don't know exactly how long, it's not going to be months because, right, the first part of the journey all the way to the promised land didn't last even a year. So this is not therefore long stays everywhere. Yes, later on they're going to have long stays, but not here in the beginning. So they're moving from here, all of them, they came to the wilderness of Sin. Now, wilderness is just another word for desert, right? Wilderness in the sense of there's nothing, right? It's just kind of a desert. You know that part of the world, that's basically what it is. And this area, this wilderness of Sin, is what it's called, not Sin. It's a name of the wilderness. It's not Sin that we come into something like that. Right? This wilderness is between Elim, in other words, between the place where they just now stayed, and Sinai, so where they are on their way to. Remember, God told Moses, he'll give him a sign that they will worship him, all of them will worship him at Sinai. So this place is now kind of halfway between, or, well, we don't know if it's halfway between, right? But it's between, okay? Because, yeah, it's not that important. It's between. So it's on the way. They're moving from the one to the other one where God promised him to be. So they are moving in the right direction, straight kind of moving in the right direction, unlike later on. And this happened in the 15th day of the second month after departed. So it's 30 days, 45 days approximately after departing Egypt. So thus far the journey actually goes, except for the whole walking through and Pharaoh being destroyed, kind of easy. Right? They're moving at a good tempo towards the goal. Verse 2. And the whole congregation of the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the people of Israel said to them, would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Right? So, well, I mean, it's 45 days after leaving, right? It's not 2 years, it's not 3 years, it's not 10 years. It's just 45 days after leaving the so-called Egypt, where everything was so great, according to them now. Right? So if they were a long time already here in the desert, going back and forth, they might have a point. But this 45 days approximately after leaving, what the heck are you already grumbling about? But the whole congregation, right? Congregation. This is the word for synagogue. It's a word as well where we get the idea of church from. So that is the ecclesia, right? The congregation of the people. So all of them, and now they're speaking of as if they're a church. Right now, before people stone me to death now, and if I say in the Old Testament, it speaks of Israel as a congregation. And they speak in the New Testament of the church as a congregation, and like, no, you're a replacement theologist or something like that. No, you're saying the church and Israel the same thing or something. Oh, yeah, right. But, well, no, they call it them here a congregation, and they're going to call the church a congregation. So, no, it's not me, it's the Bible. So anyhow, all of them, the ecclesia, the synagogue, they groaned and they moaned. But as I already said, 45 days had no excuse. And what did they grumble against? Moses, we were there in Egypt where we had a 5-star. We were living in a 5-star hotel, and now we're living in tents. How the hell could you do something like this to us? Right? It would have been better for us to just stay there. Right? Just look at this beautiful city. It's better to just stay there than to go in another place into the other side where I need to go to stay in a village or something, a bamboo hut. Moses, what the hell were you thinking about? Right? So yeah, this is, it would be better for us to have been killed there in Egypt. Like the other people died. It's like, why did we put blood on the door? It would have been better for us to be killed at that same time as well, rather than being here, not having any stakes. Yeah, man, don't be too harsh. And as a child, I remember I was sometimes so harsh on the Israelites here in the desert. Like, how can they be so stupid? But man, I'm just like that. God does so many miracles for me, and I'm like, oh no, why this? And then something bad goes on, like now again, I know some documents needed and stuff like that with travels and stuff. Like, oh no, why again? Kind of idea. No, God has provided always, and oh, if you're kicked out of the country or not, or whatever happens, ultimately, God is in control. So yes, died there while we were sitting at the meat pots and ate bread to the full. So they were enslaved there. They were working so hard. Their children were thrown in, the boys were thrown into the river and they just forget all about that and now about eating bread and meat. There, man, they have Alzheimer's. And I don't want to make fun of people with Alzheimer's. It's evil. It's really bad. If people with Alzheimer's, I know so many people struggling, and the family especially. Oh, it's not nice. But these corrective memory loss or something like this, right? It was also good there. It'd been better for us to die there. And what, to go 45 days without bread and meat? Yeah. All that you did basically, at the end of the verse, is to bring us here, to kill all of us here in the desert. This assembly, the whole assembly, again, congregation assembly, right? That again is church, ecclesia. Again, that's a direct connection between Israel in the old and the church in the new, not replacement, fulfillment theology. But anyhow, so this is all what you brought us out here for, so that we can die here? Now, they're not grumbling now at God, kind of, it would be better if God killed us here than you bringing us, Moses, to this place to die. So again, their perception, their understanding yet of the fatherhood of God is so warped. They had the same understanding of the fatherhood of God as the majority of modern day Christians as about the fatherhood of God in the Old Testament. They all just see him as a tyrant, which is not true, at all. And God's going to show it. God's going to not say, oh, you're so bad about me. No, he's going to feed them. We will see that further on.